All right, class. We are here at the end of all things. This will be for sure my final video, and I will be covering the final portfolio of your major project for this class. So let's get into it. Goals. All my English 1 and 2 courses are portfolio based. The final portfolio is the primary means for evaluating student work in my courses because it honors both the processes and products of writing. And in this class, it'll comprise a large percentage of your final grade. Your final portfolio will consist of a significantly revised research paper, which is the main assignment, honestly, of your final portfolio, your digital project, and a superhero paper. Additionally, your final portfolio requires a cover page, a cover letter, which is at least 2 pages long, table of contents, and a page numbers on the top right-hand corner. If you ever wondered why I had you do mini portfolios throughout the quarter, is because they're to prepare you for this final portfolio, which is a much larger beast than what you've done for the mini portfolios. However, since you've been doing the mini portfolios throughout the whole quarter, honestly, this isn't that much of a difference. It's just all of your documentation, all of your papers are going to be in this one document. So, portfolio requirements for English 1 and 2. Your research paper, which you're revising now, but you will have a final draft after you get with my comments, should be at least 12 pages long with 10 sources. 5 of sources, of course, should be at least peer-reviewed articles, but you don't need additional sources. If you do find more, that's fine, but have at least 10. The proposal and the edited bibliography will be revised into a digital project that you include inside of your final portfolio. If you cannot copy and paste your digital project, then please include a hyperlink in this section. As I mentioned in my previous video, where I go over craft design principles, I also go over a digital project and what you can do. Please refer to that video for more information on that. And then lastly, and the last thing you'll have on here is the superhero assignment, which is the first paper you ever wrote in my class, which should be at least 6 pages long and include 2 additional scholarly sources for a total of 5 sources. You should already have 3 from the previous draft. Yes, I do want you to find 2 journal articles for your superhero paper. Think of it as a test, okay? What kind of argument are you making about your superhero? How can you find journal articles? Perhaps you want to think about why superheroes are looked at as legends, almost like mythological figures. Maybe you can find something about Spider-Man and Batman. I don't know. I think you can. Trust me, you will. Whatever hero you chose. Maybe you chose something more from like anime. Look for that. Look for traditional Japanese stuff, like anime heroes that you might find for journal articles. Either way, if you have trouble with that, contact me as always, but I don't think you will. But think of it as a test to find scholarly articles that you can put into an assignment you already wrote without those in mind, but now you have to include them. Note, a big part of the final portfolio is making sure you highlight all the changes you made from your revised drafts to your final drafts. Just like always, I want you to draft the final drafts of your assignments, especially, you won't do this for, of course, the digital project, don't worry about that. But for the research paper and the superhero paper, I want you to have a Google Doc link drafting your assignment. And one of the things you're going to do whenever you make any changes, big or small, say you added information or you added a comma, highlight that change. And I'll show you how this is going to look. But basically, highlight any changes you made from your revised, which is your second draft, to the final draft. Anything. This will make it really easy for me to see what you've done because I have to go through many final portfolios and I want to be able to see quickly what are the big changes that you made. As I say here, I need to see your changes quickly, so make sure you highlight any changes and make sure from your revised to your final drafts. This includes making additions to your paragraphs, fixing citations, fixing grammar. If you make any kind of change, any kind of fix, highlight it. So overall portfolio requirements, again, this don't check your own due date. This due date happens to be March 9th. I don't know when your actual due date is. This is a video, so I'm going to be using this throughout many quarters. Just double check on the actual Canvas page. But it's usually going to be due on a Sunday before midnight, like always. But it's got to make sure to have a cover page. And oh, by the way, these things are listed in the order exactly as you should have this. This is going to matter because if it's not in this order and it's not in a single document, you will lose points. So make sure to have a cover page is the first thing, table of contents, cover letter, which must be at least 2 pages long. And think of this cover letter instead of just going over your single project, going over the whole time in this class. And we'll go over that here in a second. Your research paper should be the first thing I see, and it should be the final draft first, then the revised, and the rough. So a little different from the mini portfolios. Then it'll be your digital project of your proposal. And then the proposal, the revised draft of that will be coming next, and then the rough, and then the superhero paper, final revised rough. You should have page numbers in the top right-hand corner of every page, except for the cover page. Highlight all changes from your revised draft to your final drafts, and then make sure to have correct grammar and punctuation on the cover letter in all final drafts. That's going to matter. I didn't grade grammar and punctuation throughout the quarter, but I will do that for the final portfolio. Some important notes, unlike the major assignments, this portfolio will be graded under certain criteria. So if you're wondering what exactly I'm going to be using to grade, well, this is it. 1, correct order of materials is outlined in this paper. So this is the correct order. 2, show correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling. 3, show correct APA citation. We've been using APA citation this whole time. You should have it down pat, and you probably should have learned it before this class. If you haven't, doesn't matter. This is what we did. You should have correct APA citation. 4, show significant revisions in each final draft of your assignments, specifically your superhero paper and most especially in your research paper, as that's the big main thing about this class is how to make a research paper, right? So you should have a lot of highlighted stuff in those papers. 5, show your ability to summarize, analyze, synthesize, and respond in writing and text, especially in the final draft of your research paper. I want to be able to see that. 6, show that you can make an argument, not just a report. Remember, especially for your research papers, it shouldn't be a report. That was just a proposal. Your research paper should make an argument about your topic. 8, lastly, you must draft your final drafts of your papers in Google Docs. You must include those links. There should be 2 links, one for your research paper and then one for your actual final draft of your superhero paper, right? You don't need to include a link for the whole final portfolio. I understand that that might be too much to show me all that, but for drafting them, absolutely. When you're done with your final portfolio, you'll submit it as a Word file, or honestly, you can submit it as a PDF. If some of you had trouble with, and that's fine, because it's when you move something from Google Docs to Word, it creates this formatting issues. That's fine. Save it as a PDF. Because I'm not going to be giving you comments on this thing. I'm just going to be reading it and giving you a grade. You don't need to, I'm not going to download it like normal to give you specific comments and highlight stuff. So if it's a single PDF, works fine. So, but a Word file is fine as well. But once it's uploaded as either PDF or Word file, include the Google Doc links in the comment section, as you've always have done for drafting the final version of the research paper and the final version of the superhero paper. If you do that, you should get full points. I'm going to give you 0 if you don't give me those links, okay? You have to have this. An important part of the final portfolio is showing me how you improved and grown from each assignment. So part of your cover letter should go over how you met our course outcomes. So we have 5 course outcomes, which you can see in our syllabus here. Let's click over here real quick and go over there to the syllabus. And it's one of the first things we have here. These are their 5 course outcomes. The idea is in your cover letter is to explain to me, how have you met these course outcomes specifically through writing your assignments, especially your research paper, right? So, for instance, I have an example here. How did you one of our 102 outcomes is synthesize and attribute sources appropriately in a major research-based argumentative paper. How did you do that in a research paper? Can you provide examples? What pages should I look at that is a prime example of you meeting this outcome? It might be multiple pages. You tell me. Remember, the cover letter should not be a summary of your assignments. I've read them. I know what they are about. You should have a sense at the most. It's really a reflection of how you did in this class, what you liked about this class, and then specifically, how did you meet these outcomes, right? Please ask me for help during my office hours, or of course, it's online class, but send me an email and we can meet through Zoom. Remember, when you organize your drafts, unlike the mini portfolios, it's always the final first, then the revised and the rough. Before it was the rough first, then the revised, right? But I want it in this order because I want to see your final draft first. You'll do the same for all of the final portfolios. There'll be an example of a final portfolio actually, and I'll actually also provide you a template for this assignment, which we'll go into here in a second. So there's an example which is in modules right under this assignment here. So if we go over here, here's the assignment where it's going to be, you know, what we're going over here right now. But under that will be materials, template, and an example. And we'll go over those in a second once we finish here. Correct citations are a must. You are proven to me that you not only know how to cite correctly, but that you cite correctly in APA. So if any of your citations are wrong in any of the final drafts specifically, so the final draft of your research paper, final draft of your superhero paper, and in your your digital project too as well, you will lose an automatic 25 points, just automatically. And this is worth 200 points total, so that's a big chunk. You don't want to lose that. If you submit your portfolio late, you will automatically just lose half of the points. And then whatever you lose in addition to, when I grade it. So please do not submit your portfolio rate late. There should be no reason. You'll have plenty of time to work on this final portfolio. Again, you will not receive any comments for the final portfolio, only a grade. I'm not giving you, you're not revising this. This is it. This is the last revision you're making. This is why they're called the final drafts. So I'm just giving you a grade based on what I see holistically as a whole product, right? If you want to know specifically why you got a certain grade, email me and we can meet up and I can let you know. Anyways, that's in a nutshell what the final portfolio is about. It shouldn't be too much, like I said, because you've been doing a mini portfolio throughout the whole quarter. And honestly, this is it. This is the last assignment. And you're not drafting anything new. You're just taking your assignments and creating one final draft for each of them, except for, of course, the second one, which will be a digital project, which I went over there in the previous video. So let's go over the some of the stuff that I have here. So the first is a template, and then the other one is going to be an example. So here's a template that I've made for you guys that you should use. There's no reason not to use it because again, this assignment should be one single document. Um, and it'll show up here on Canvas eventually, but honestly, just download it and then you can copy and paste it to what you need. So I'm just going to download it here. Oops. Yeah, and then that way we can just mess with it. And then the final portfolio example, the template. Oh, this is an example. Sorry, I got them confused. I guess well, anyways, okay, I want to go through the template first. I don't know the example. It doesn't matter. So here I have a cover page already made for you. It's all done. See, all you got to do is put your name here and then the course number. And your course number is always on Canvas. And it's always right here. It always says English 102 and then 5-digit number. So it'll change. It'll depend on what, so it might happen to be this one. It probably is not. Either way, that's it. Just put whatever course number is here. And then you leave my name there and then the due date. Because you're only going to have one cover page because this is an APA, but I only want you to have one cover page for the whole thing. And this is it for the whole thing. And then here's your table of contents. I made one for you. Do this last. I have this little note here that you'll delete this highlighted stuff. Do this last because do not like do any of this until you have all the rest of your documents because it's going to mess up the order. Say you started doing the cover letter, but then you put something in between. It's going to mess up your whole freaking page numbers. Do this absolutely last once it's all said and done, right? Here's your cover letter. There needs to be 2-page reflection here, right? And here's some questions that I have for you guys to kind of answer and some stuff to keep in mind. You will delete this stuff and then put your own. You'll have your name here, your section, the date, and then you start with Dear Portfolio Reader, and then it ends with sincerely your name, right? Make sure it's 2 pages long, double spaced, grammar and punctuation doesn't matter for this. Remember that the big thing is to focus on how you met the course outcomes for this class through your writing. Here's where your final research paper is going to go. You'll just copy and paste it over. Make sure it's 12 pages long with 10 sources. And lastly, make sure you highlight any changes you made from the revised to the final draft, right? Here's where the rough draft, or I'm sorry, excuse me, the revised draft of your research paper is going to go. Copy and paste it over. Here's where the rough draft is going to go. Here's where your digital project is going to go, okay? Again, you might not be able to fit it in here. If not, because maybe you use Canva, like I mentioned in my previous video. That's fine. You're going to just include a hyperlink here. That's how it's going to work. No big deal. But here's where you're going to have your revised draft of your proposal with your annotated bib. Just copy and paste it over. And here's the rough draft of that, right? And then here's the final draft of your superhero paper. Again, make sure to that it's highlight any changes you made from the revised to the final, and make sure it's 6 pages long with 2 additional scholarly sources. This is just a reminder. Make sure to delete this stuff. Here's where you copy and paste your revised draft of your superhero paper, and here's where you copy and paste your rough draft of your superhero paper. And that's it. Use this template. It should all be in one document, okay? The only outlier might be your digital project, which would be in a separate document because it doesn't quite fit well because of the parameters. That's fine. But that's the only document that might have to have a second, have to be in addition. But everything else should be in this one single document. So that's the template. Use this. I want you to use this. There's no reason for you to have to make it. This will keep you focused on how to complete this final portfolio. And it already did a lot of the busy work for you. Okay. I did. That's nice of me, right? So please do this. Okay. So now let us share over an example because I give you an example as well. And I have it over to here open in Word. So here's an example that I made for you guys for you to use to know how it's going to look. So here is, John Doe. Here's his English section, and then here's his table of contents, right? You'll notice that I have the actual title of his research paper, and then draft one and two, the title of his digital project, and then the title of his superhero paper. Here's his cover letter, which it says 102, but honestly, this is a cover letter for 101. I just copied and pasted over here because I didn't want to make another one. So it's going over the outcomes, but it's going over the outcomes for 101, just heads up. But it's basically what I want you to do for this 102. And it can be as long as it needs to be, but it needs to be at least 2 pages long, right? 2 pages double space. And then here's their final draft of their research paper. Notice that you don't have anything except for the title here, right? Because again, you have a cover page that covers the whole document. But anyways, here's the research. This is what it should look like. You should have your title here, but it has a little parenthetical. It's final just to make sure it's a final. And then I should know it's a final because everything that's highlighted should be highlighted just like this, so I know that it's changed from your revised draft, and this is what's different, right? And so this is what it should look like, and it should be however long it needs to be, in your case, 10, 12 pages, whatever. And then your references here, right? And then after that, your revised, which you just copy and paste over. If this isn't correct, that's fine because it like your grammar's wrong or whatever, or some citations are off. That's fine because what matters is that your final draft is the correct one that has everything that's fixed or whatever. But not so much the revised. It's just copy and pasted whatever over, right? And then so copy and paste it over, and then surprise, it's the rough draft, the first draft that you wrote that you turned in for peer review from your peers. And that's copy and paste it over. And then after that is your digital project. And here I made an image of that example that I showed you from the previous lesson, from the craft design principles lesson, right? Here I took the brochure and I just saved it as a PDF, and then I uploaded or inserted it here in this section. Here's the first page and here's the second page, right? And because I had to make it fit within the confines of this whole project. And that's one way to do this. If this doesn't work, of course, make a link, or at the very least, just have something like this. Like say this wasn't here, have something like, and let me move this over here. For this section, you could say digital project, and maybe you made like a infographic, and it can't quite fit here. So what you should say is see attached document, and then the attached document to this final portfolio, or you could have the hyperlink here, right? Please use this hyperlink, and then link the hyperlink here. Fine. Whatever it is, however you can get it. This is the only exception to this because I understand the digital project might be too big for the confines of the space. But anyways, I included one there for if someone did a brochure. Okay, whatever, you saw it. Anyways, after that, you bring your proposal in that you turn in as a revised draft, just copy and pasted it over. And with and of course, it was a 2 page proposal, report on your topic. And then after that was added to the bib, copy and paste the whole thing, rough draft, same thing. There won't be nothing highlighted for this section because, of course, it's a digital project. And then lastly, you have your superhero paper, right? Whatever the title is for that superhero paper is, and then highlight whatever changes you made, as I'm showing here. And then maybe I had references that I didn't include before, so I highlighted those. And again, you highlight simple things that maybe you didn't have a comma here, right? Like I do here. You do that as well, whatever changes you made. And then copy and paste the revised draft, and then the rough draft. And there you go. And you'll notice it'll be a big beast of a paper. It'll be long because, of course, your research paper is 10 pages alone, right? Like a rough draft of that. And then having 3 versions of that, right, already, that could be potentially, what, 40 pages on its own. And then you'll have your superhero paper and then a digital project with the proposal. It's going to be long. The length doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. What matters is that it's in this format, and keep this example in mind as you're doing this, okay? This will help you a lot with drafting this assignment. So that is, in a nutshell, your um, English 102 final project. It's what we're going to be working. It's a culmination of all of your work that you've done so far in this class, and it is what you need to focus on for the rest of the quarter. You might, depending, well, no, that it doesn't matter. That no, forget, forget I said anything. If you have any questions, as always, please contact me. Set up a Zoom meeting with me. I am more than happy to help, especially look over your final portfolio is totally fine. but keep the due date in mind. It's a hard due date. You'll still be able to turn it in, but you'll lose so many points that you do not want to do that, okay? Either way, that's it. This is the final video. Thank you so much for joining me for this class. I wish you luck on your final portfolio. Once that's submitted, you are completely done with my class. So thank you so much for joining me for this class. I will see you potentially never more. But either way, I hope you had a good time. But bye-bye.